So to start off, I want to preface this video with saying there's film red spoilers within this video. If you make it to this point or you make it past this point, I do not have any dealings with you trying to hear spoilers about the movie if you haven't seen the movie. And with that, yo, what's good, y'all? So one thing that really interested me when watching Film Red, I went and saw it in theaters. Yes, this is not going to be a review of Film Red, but there's something that really interests me within Film Red, and I feel that it may make some type of return within One Piece as a whole. And as we're going through, the recent arc right now, which is Egghead Island, I have grounds to think that this, thing might show up at some point. With all the crazy things going on right now, it's looking like it could possibly make its way around to actually be some way into the story. So, Tot Musica, it's supposed to be this old distant legend, and they call it the Demon King. And whoever has this fruit ability, which is Utsa's fruit ability, they can activate Tot Musica, and it will reemerge itself and wreak havoc on the world, right? So what really interests me about this whole legend is the underground of Elgia. And Elgia is actually a place within One Piece, and it really was destroyed. So there are plenty of ways we can go and define of how it was destroyed and why it was destroyed. And really, Utsa and Emu are really the two characters that I'm looking at the most in this. It almost feels like this could be a portrayal of Emu in this movie. And with the way Tot Musica is maneuvering, because it almost feels that it was Tot Musica kind of controlling and getting through to Utsa within the movie. But let me get back to where I was saying before. So what really interests me the most is when they went underground, the rest of the Straw Hats, while everyone else was probably above ground, because this is all within the Sing Sing world, right? So Robin, they all looked at the ceiling, and there was this story of Tot Musica and people of the past dealing with Tot Musica, and it was basically history, and it just really stood out to me more so than anything in the movie. Excuse me. So I looked at that a lot more differently, thinking it reminded me of Skypia's history and our own world history, where there was paintings and hieroglyphics on the wall, and they were talking about Tot Musica, and Robin read what was going on back then, and they were just saying that if you have this fruit or you sing a certain tone, it unlocks Tot Musica. And it's just, I don't know why, it just really resonated with me. I really seem to hyper focus on this being or whatever it can be. It really, I feel like this is one of the most interesting things of probably recent One Piece movies. I'm really latched on to this idea, and I feel like we're getting, visions of it within the story now, especially with Emu and what they can possibly do. It almost feels like something akin to Tot Musica is what Emu probably has, And I'm not going to get into characterization and all that, what I'm saying? There's a lot, that's a whole different video, that's a whole different conversation. But this is basically a video on Tot Musica and whatever Tot Musica could be. Because we can almost use it as it's a link to a devil fruit, right? So there can also be grounds for explaining, because while the movie was going on, I was also thinking about Gear 5. you know. And I was also thinking, how can this tie in with Tot Musica? Because it almost feels that it could, because this is Luffy's childhood friend and she has something going on with her. And, you know, we know what's going on with Luffy, but it didn't have a big, it was almost like an Easter egg. It didn't have a big reveal. It changed in the middle of the fight. It could have stayed as Snake Man, but you know, I was looking for ground. Once I started getting more history on Tot Musica, I was wondering, like, how can this tie in with Nika? And it almost feels like it can, but it didn't within the movie, you know? So that's why it felt like, hey, there's some grounds for this becoming, you know, coming into the actual story and within probably a few arcs almost, but just with how the story is going right now, it just feels so crazy, because how Utsa is very high tech and was able to download Tot Musica. It almost feels like what it is, it could be, you know, electronically made in some way, or electronically projected in how Egghead is at the moment. And whatever we're learning about this robot giant, robot Oni almost, or however can it be explained, from the 900 years ago, the void century is looking more and more interesting, and it just feels like it's on the horizon almost. And I feel like Tot Musica could make some sort of cameo. We're gonna learn about this robot giant that appeared at Mary Joa 200 years ago during the Fishman rebellion, or, you know, kind of inauguration into the world government, and more of Emu. So it just really feels like how Tot Musica, for me, intertwines into the story. I'm very excited to see how things are going on within this arc, and whenever we get a Void Century flashback, man, that's the bread and butter right there. That's the bread and butter. I'm very looking forward to that. I'm just excited to see all these things make its way and be explained, and see all these new characters that they probably were, and, you know what I'm saying? And even now, the time I'm recording this, we're getting a Phantom Troop flashback in Hunter x Hunter. So, and 1067 just dropped. We're gonna be on break week by the time this drops. But yeah, the last chapter is dropping today, Sunday actually. The official is dropping today, and I had already read it on Thursday, 1067, and I really enjoyed that chapter. But it also made me hurt, because I also have a video coming out probably in the next few days about Kuma. I'm speaking in past tense because it's already out by now, because this is later. Man, I'm a mess. But hey, man, I want to keep everyone's eyes and keep everyone focused on Tot Musica more so than anything else, because if you've seen it, you know. But I'm really hyper focused on the history behind Tot Musica and the connections with the Devil Fruits, and how it could probably be incorporated into Void Century history. And that's really all I'm saying. I'm just saying, focus on it, focus on what it can bring to the story, and how it can actually be, you know, linked to something that could actually happen within the story. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm really trying to say. Go watch Film Red if you haven't. And yeah, I was gonna try to sing the song, but I kind of forgot the lyrics. I wanna be free. Yeah. With that, y'all's been choosing. Talk to y'all later.